Hello and welcome back. In this short code walkthrough, we want to see how we can insert values into a database that don't go into one table, but where we need to query other tables to find out values from the primary and the foreign key. We've already done this in other examples with SQL statements as a script. Here we want to use SQLAlchemy from Python code. So before we do anything, we need to create a database engine, and this engine essentially is our connection to the database. And we use a Postgres database with this specific driver, and here we have the connection string from the file service hosting the database. Before we can interact with the database, we need to retrieve the relevant information. So we need an inspector that allows us to query the database and get the metadata, like which tables we have. And then we retrieve the tables that we have in our database. We know that we have those two tables, but we can also use the inspector to query us if we didn't. And then we create them as Python objects using the data that's already stored in the database. Now, having prepared everything, we can insert some data, and we want to add a new sample to a specific storage location. However, we don't want to find out the storage location ID ourselves, but we want to use the database information already. So we need to query the storage table to find out the ID of a given name for a storage location. Then when we have done this, we can add a new element to the samples table with that storage ID. So say we want to add this sample here. So we have the insert statement with the following values, and this is our sample name. But now we don't want to give it this storage ID ourselves, but we want to have the return value of the query to the database. So here we have the select statement, and it's a subquery because we want to use this immediately. We want to know the storage ID with a constraint where the storage location equals that string. And then we can connect to the database again, and because we want to change the database, we explicitly need to call commit.